Coronation Street's Steve McDonald causes a wild panic next week, when Tyrone Dobbs' son Dorin disappears from underneath his nose. At number 9, Steve sets himself up in front of the telly while promising to keep an eye on Dorin. However, the comfy cabbie ends up snoozing on the job, leaving 3-year-old Dorin to his own devices. If anyone should be kipping, it should be Dorin. It's thoughtless of Steve to fall asleep with a toddler in his care, our Corey source points out. And it doesn't take much to imagine the terror that goes through him and the rest of the family when it becomes clear that Dorin really is nowhere to be found. As the search for Dorin begins, the Dobbs clan grow concerned that the little one might have clambered into an old fridge that has now been taken away. If proven true, could Tyrone's boy be in serious danger? Before this, Steve makes the bold decision to move out of the home that he shares with Tracy until their divorce is finalized. But that's not the only announcement that takes his ex-wife by surprise that day. Steve means business. He turns up at Preston's Pedals with Cassie to tell Tracy that he has a copy of the business valuation, and wants his share. Tracy is livid and quickly suspects that Amy handed the information over to her dad. Then not long after that, Steve says that he's moving out. It's a lot for Tracy to process. Once Steve packs his bags, Tyrone reveals that he's happy for the dad of one to move in with Cassie. Not everyone agrees with Ty's decision though, as Fizz struggles to hide her annoyance at the sudden change. But with Dorin missing, has Steve already wrecked his relationship with Cassie's family? And where could Tyrone's mini-me have possibly gone? Coronation Street panic. Steve McDonald's shocking mistake leads to missing child drama. Next week on Coronation Street, a seemingly ordinary day spirals into chaos when Steve McDonald finds himself at the center of a terrifying ordeal. The sudden disappearance of young Dorin Dobbs, Tyrone's 3-year-old son. What starts as a quiet babysitting stint turns into a village-wide panic, with devastating consequences that threaten to fracture relationships and trust across Weatherfield. This isn't just another parenting mishap, it's a dramatic turning point in Steve's life, with echoes that could change his standing with friends, family, and his own future. As the search intensifies and blame starts to spread, questions emerge. Can Steve recover from such a disastrous mistake? Will Dorin be found safe? And just how deep will the emotional fallout go? It all starts with a nap, and a broken promise. At first, the arrangement seems harmless enough. Tyrone asks Steve for a favor, to watch over little Dorin while the rest of the family is busy. Known for being generally good-natured, if occasionally unreliable, Steve agrees without hesitation and settles into the sofa at number 9, TV remote in hand. But the familiar hum of the television, combined with a comfy cushion and the weight of emotional baggage from his ongoing divorce with Tracy, quickly lulls the cabbie into a deep, unintended nap. Meanwhile, 3-year-old Dorin is left unattended. Curious and energetic, the toddler does what toddlers do best, wanders off in search of something new. A Coronation Street insider offered some insight. If anyone should be kipping, it should be Dorin. It's thoughtless of Steve to fall asleep with a toddler in his care. The panic sets in. Dorin is missing. The moment Steve wakes up, the realization hits like a freight train. Dorin is gone. No laughter, no footsteps, no sound of toys clattering. Just a terrible, suffocating silence. As Steve races through the house, calling the boy's name, it becomes heartbreakingly clear. This isn't a prank or a game. Dorin has truly vanished. Word spreads fast. Tyrone and Fizz return to find Steve in full panic mode. Emotions boil over as the family begins to piece together what may have happened. Was it the back door left open? Could he have wandered into the street? Or worse, was there something far more sinister at play? The search party forms quickly, and neighbors begin to help scour the local area. But the Dobbs family fears the worst when someone remembers a chilling detail. An old fridge had recently been left outside for pickup, and is now gone. Could Dorin have climbed into it, thinking it was a hiding spot? The possibility sends chills down everyone's spines. Time is running out. A father's rage and a friend's failure. For Tyrone, the situation is almost too much to bear. The protective father is livid, and rightly so. Steve's mistake isn't just careless, it's potentially life-threatening. Yet there's a complicated history between the two men. They've been friends. They've supported each other through thick and thin. But in that moment, Tyrone's trust is shattered. Meanwhile, Fizz, already stretched thin with stress, struggles to hold back her frustration. She never wanted Steve to move in with Cassie, and now her instincts seem painfully justified. The house is no longer a place of safety. Blame, guilt, and fear now fill every room. Meanwhile, Steve and Tracy's divorce gets even uglier. Earlier in the day, before the chaos unfolds, Steve drops 2 bombshells on his soon-to-be ex-wife Tracy Barlow. First, he arrives at Preston's Petals with Cassie in tow, presenting Tracy with a copy of the business valuation paperwork. Calm but assertive, Steve declares he wants his share of the florist business, a demand that leaves Tracy stunned and furious. Suspecting that their daughter Amy betrayed her confidence by sharing the documents, Tracy's fury grows. And then, before she can fully digest the betrayal, Steve drops a second bombshell. He's moving out, effective immediately. The back-to-back announcements shake Tracy to her core. For someone who's used to being in control, the double blow feels like a declaration of war. But the day's drama is far from over. Cassie welcomes Steve in, but it's short-lived. With nowhere else to go and the divorce in motion, Steve accepts Tyrone's offer to move in with Cassie. At first, it seems like a decent arrangement. Cassie is kind, understanding, and the dynamic appears manageable. But Fizz is far from thrilled. She makes no attempt to hide her disapproval, especially with a toddler in the house. Steve's laid-back attitude and chaotic personal life don't inspire confidence. Then Dorin disappears, and everything changes. Steve's standing with Cassie's family is instantly compromised. No one says it out loud right away, but the blame hangs heavy in the air. The question lingers. Can they ever trust Steve again? As the hours pass, hope fades. The frantic search for Dorin continues late into the night. Residents of Coronation Street rally together, desperate to help. Posters go up. Phones ring. Every bush, shed, and alley is checked. Steve is beside himself with guilt. His carefree nature has cost him dearly, and may have cost a child his life. It doesn't take much to imagine the terror that goes through him and the rest of the family when it becomes clear that Dorin really is nowhere to be found, says our source. As minutes turn into hours, the fear becomes unbearable. And just when hope begins to fade, a clue emerges. Will Dorin be found in time? The mystery of Dorin's whereabouts becomes the emotional centerpiece of the week's episodes. Will he be found safe and sound, or will this become one of the darkest chapters in Coronation Street's recent history? Whatever the outcome, the damage has already been done. Trust has been broken. Friendships are fractured. And for Steve McDonald, this could be the final straw in a life already full of mistakes and missteps. Steve's redemption arc, or final fall. As the community reels from the near tragedy, Steve is left to pick up the pieces. Whether Dorin is found alive or not, his role in the ordeal will leave scars. Not just on himself, but on those closest to him. Can he earn back the trust of Tyrone, Fizz, and Cassie? Can he repair the fragile bond with his daughter Amy after the fight with Tracy? And will he ever forgive himself? One thing is certain. Coronation Street is setting up a week of emotionally explosive drama that will have fans talking long after the credits roll.